Have you ever wondered, I work so hard but still not rich? Or surfed social networks, saw people showing off their luxury cars, beautiful houses, and thought to yourself, I'm so far behind. Don't be sad, because today I'm going to tell you 4 things I learned after more than a decade of struggling with money. From the day I started studying finance to working in the banking industry. Trust me, if I had known these things earlier, I wouldn't have spent so many sleepless nights worrying about money. After listening, you might find that you're doing better than you imagined. Ready? Let's get started. 1. What game are you playing? Showing off or really getting rich? There are 2 types of games about money that everyone has fallen into. One is the show-off game, the game where you compete to see who is cooler. Buy a fancy car to show off online, buy a designer bag to look cool in photos, or take pictures in front of a huge house just to make everyone admire. But hey, there's a problem with this game. You only win when others lose. What if everyone had a nice car and a nice bag? No one would care about you anymore. I've seen people rush into this race only to end up exhausted from always having to compare. There's another game. Getting rich for real. Not to show off, but to build something for yourself, like savings, a small investment, or a few bucks to learn a new skill. I know a friend who doesn't have a high salary, but quietly saves money to buy land. 10 years later, he sells that land, enough to buy a big house without showing off to anyone. What's the secret? Don't chase after other people's limelight, just focus on your own money. What game are you playing? 2. How much is enough? Don't let anyone decide for you. In the past, I used to wonder, how much is enough for me? The average salary in the UK is somewhere over £27,000 a year. In the US, it's closer to $60,000. But these numbers don't really tell you anything. Why? Because you're not comparing yourself to the whole world, but to your closest friends and colleagues, the people closest to you. I've seen a case where a person earns quite a bit, but when he finds out that his friend earns a little more, he suddenly feels sad. On the contrary, if he earns more than his friend, he's happy, but not for long. This is called the pain of loss. Losing 100,000 is twice as sad as finding 100,000. The same goes for salary. Knowing you earn less than someone else, you're sad for a week. Earning more, you're happy for a few days and then forget. So I've learned one thing. Don't let other people's wallets be your yardstick. Set your own goals, like saving $5,000 a month or paying off credit card debt, and that's enough to be proud of. 3 basic things to keep money from being a problem. After many years of struggling, I've found that if you want to have stable money, you have to have a firm grasp of these 3 things. If you lack any of them, you'll easily go bankrupt. Know how much money comes in and goes out. Some people earn a lot, but don't know where to spend it. I used to be like that until I sat down and wrote down how much money I earned this month, how much I spent. If you spend less than you earn, you're on the right track. Use a notebook or an app as long as it's clear. Emergency reserve. Believe it or not, 40% of Britons can't survive a month if they lose their job. And in the US, more than half can't come up with $1,000 when they need it urgently. I used to save a little money, and when my car broke down unexpectedly, I calmly fixed it without having to borrow money. Starting with just 1 month's expenses, you're already better than a lot of people. Don't let debt overwhelm you. Debt isn't bad, but letting it become a lifesaver is dangerous. In the US, the average person owes more than $32,000, not counting buying a house. And in the UK, many young people borrow more just to get by. I used to cut up my credit cards, practice paying bills on time, and feel relieved. If you can do that, you're ahead. 4. Look at money through your own eyes, not through others' eyes. Society likes to praise shiny things, luxury cars, big houses, fancy trips. But I realized a good saying, look differently, everything will be different. I once met a person with an ordinary house, an old car, but enough money in the bank to buy an entire neighborhood. He didn't need anyone to compliment him, he just needed to feel good about himself. Think about it. Do you want to be rich in your pocket? Or do you just want people to think you're rich? I often ask myself, if no one knew how much I earned, would I be satisfied? When you live true to yourself, you don't need to follow anyone. You don't need to play games that other people set the rules. True freedom is there. Let's get started. These 4 things are not just theories. I have seen them applied to many people, from office workers to big bosses. You don't have to be good at it right away, but try it. Choose to be truly rich. Set your own goals, master the 3 basics, and live your life. Who knows, you might be doing better than you think. If you find it interesting, share it with someone who is mumbling, "I'm so bad." Maybe they just need to hear this to gain more confidence. Thanks for reading. See you next time.